Hi guys, today we'll be looking into common mistakes that cost you your interviews in your CV. We'll be spotting this mistake and we'll be providing a tailored solution to it. A resume that has an ATS score of over 95%, right? Now we'll have a lot of AIs recruiters use to screen resume. So if your resume is not on top of your game, you might be missing out, right? Now I'm going to be presenting two resume. One has an ATS score. What is ATS? Application Tracking System. Is a tool recruiters use to screen your CV, right? Because we have a lot of applicants. So they use this to screen your CV to see who is more qualified than the others. And these two looks as format, keywords, and probably the milestone you have helped to achieve while in this company. So I'm going to be sharing you a resume, right? That is not so super good. So you can see this resume, right? If I ran you through the ATS tracking system, it has a score about 35, which is not enough to land you the job, right? For your CV to actually be considered, at least you should have an ATS score of 70 and above. Now look at the CV. First, the format is completely wrong. So you can also see that the arrangement is also wrong. Now the work experience should come further after the summary or the objective, right? But you can see it's way below down the line. And you can see like itemization of the item is not super aligned, right? So if your resume is like, even though you have about 15 years experience, expect a resounding rejection. So this CV has a very nice, in fact, the latest score of the CV is over 95%. So we'll be using this CV to run through interview, our job, our CV training process, right? So let me go to the dashboard. First thing your resume should have is your full name. I advise people to always have their first and their last name on their resume. Then the next thing your resume should have, your professional title should be stated clearly. Are you a DevOps engineer? Are you a cybersecurity engineer? Are you into web development, front end, back end? Let it be stated clearly. You might not want to stress your recruiter looking at what he or she is actually doing. So let your email also be stated clearly, and let your mobile number, which is your contact, should be stated clearly. Now, on the aspect of location, your location is super important, right? Make sure you use a major city in your location. If you're in Africa or if you're in Nigeria, it's expected to use more of Lagos, Abuja, or Port Harcourt. These are the key cities that people know, and also probably Kano, right? But for me, if I'm to advise the tech talent, because of Lagos is like the highest emerging hub in Africa, you can use cities like Lagos. If you're in Nigeria, if you're in United Kingdom, you can use cities like London, right? Because over 50 to 70% of the roles are mostly London based. So these are like tech hub industries. If you're in US, US is like home, right? So you can use like major cities around you, right? Then the next thing, you as your location, right? Major cities around you as your location, even though you're not really located in those areas. Let's say your compute distance is within 30 minutes. Use those cities, because if the recruiters go to search for people in a particular city, right, and it filters in and gives them people within that location. Now, the next thing, let me just show you a perfect example. Now, let's say I'm a recruiter, right, and I come to search for this is software engineer, and I click on people, and probably I look at the location. I say Nigeria. Yeah, so let's say Nigeria. If you notice, the ranking came out. So this is Nigeria. The ranking, you can see that one, we have Lagos, Nigeria, we have Lagos, Nigeria, right? We have Nigeria. We also have Abuja, right? We have Lagos, we have Lagos. Why do we have this ranking? Why they favoring more this location is because from recruiters' point of recruitment, they normally search for talent within these geopolitical zones because one, they are more, they are like major cities. You can also see Abuja here, you can also see Abuja. So make sure you use a major city in your location, right? Then after that, next thing you should be able to do is your LinkedIn URL, right? Make sure you embed your LinkedIn URL in your CV. So once they click on it, it will automatically lead them to your LinkedIn profile. It automatically lead them to your LinkedIn profile. So make sure your resume is attached to your CV, or your LinkedIn URL now is attached to your resume. And the next thing you should also be thinking about is your GitHub account. If you're in tech, your GitHub houses all the project you have worked into. Also embed it as a link. Very, very important. You follow this key recommendation. Then after that, you can see your profile. Your profile, I always advise people let it be within 2 to 5 lines. Let it talk about your years of experience should be there, where you have worked on, and probably the certificate you have also acquired. So let it have those summary, and let it also have certificate you have acquired. Let it also have the milestones you have achieved, right? You being on those organizations, what have you done for them? Then the next thing that is also keen on your resume should be your skill set, because every role, your skill set is super important. Now, let me go and search for a particular role. Let's say software engineer. Then let's just go on jobs. Now, if we search for a job named software engineer, you see that they will list out the skills that are needed in this role. You can see experience in CI/CD pipeline, preferably using GitLab. You can see they also mention JavaScript, TypeScript. Now, if you don't have these skills on your resume might not pass the ATS tracking system, because it's the ATS tracking system will match your resume and the job description if you have a lot of those keywords, right? So make sure you have those in your skill set. The next thing you should look out for is your professional experience. Now, your professional experience should carry key item and well personalized. Like I analyzed, I monitored, I investigated, executed, I led a team, and also have like a more like percentage ratio, more like this is the milestone achieved. You can see after doing this, so you can see here. So let's read this one. It said managing SI Plonk for real-time threat detection, creating logs from endpoints, and cut incident response by 30%. So it talks about the milestone he achieved while on that role, right? So your daily to-do should also capture that. Now your certificate is also something that is super, super important, right? Your certificate should capture all the things you have, and it's very important you capture the certificate. And your certificate will also include like links, right? Links, your certificate should be linked to your account so that if someone click on a particular certificate, they can go directly and see those certificates. Then then after that, the next part you should be talking about profile is like an executive summary of what you have done, what you have achieved over the year, then your skill set, the skills, your core competencies, the things you that the technologies you can use that is aligned to those roles. Then your professional experience talks about your daily to do, what you have achieved, and how it aligns to the current rules. Then your certificate should also be important, right? So your certificate should, so if you see the certificate here, if you click this little link, it's going to show you how to embed the LinkedIn or the link URL. So once you embed this link URL, it will lead you exactly to the certificate, and the recruiter will see that you are already certified in that particular course. Now, after you have your certificate, your education is also key. Make sure you insert your education and also include like your graduation date, right, and the location of the school. You can see something like key impact and contribution. So more like these are my key impact on the project I worked and my key contribution, right? We talked about your certificate, right? Also do well to embed links in your certificate. So once the recruiter clicks, you can they can actually go and view the certificate. You can also have like the date of the certificate was issued and probably when it's going to get expired, right? Now you also have like reference. You can your reference. I normally advise people to just put available on request because you can include the reference and the person might not even will skip that you actually did this on this particular row. So it's better the recruiters ask you, okay, do you have any reference for this? Then you can prep your referee and say, oh, someone might call you for this role. These are the things you need to say, right? You also have publications. Please do well to search your publications with your links, right? Then with this proper arrangement, your resume is going to score over 90%. Now, in summary, you have your name, you have what you do, you have your email, your contact address, you have your LinkedIn profile embedded that they can click and will be led to your LinkedIn page. You also have your GitHub account, you have your profile that talks about what you've done, the technologies you have used, and the certificate you have also acquired. Also talks about your impact, your core skills that is related to the role, and the tools and technologies you can use. The frameworks you can see here. He said he can use Node, you can use AWS, you can use Azure and Kali Linux. Right. So these are the key skills. Then your daily to do is like what your achievement on your daily like task, the things you do on a daily basis. So you should also have your education, you should also have your certificate embedded in links that anyone can click and they will have a view of your certificate and they see that you are really, really certified in that course. If you also have publication, that's fine. If you don't have, that's also fine. Your project should also be embedded in links that a recruiter can click and they will view and see the project and the things you have achieved while working on that role. However, if you want the name of this to do well to drop a comment on the link below and we're going to share the name of this too. So I'm going to also show you that form. This one is actually way more easier, but it's also super good. It has an 8-year score of over 90%. So this is basically we are using like the Google Sheet to create this. So if you go to your laptop, you will see where they said Google Doc, right? So once you open a Google Doc, you can just click a blank document, and once you have a blank document, you can construct a resume using this blank document. You can actually save as PDF, right? You can save as PDF. Now, if you look at this, we have our name, our phone numbers, and our LinkedIn bio. Once I still click on the LinkedIn bio, it leads to my LinkedIn account. It leads to my LinkedIn account, right? So let me just click on the back. Right, so you should also have your location where you're based, your professional summary, just like I said, should be between 1 to 5 lines, right? Very, very important, very brief and concise. Your technical skills should be captured, your professional experience should be captured in bullet point, right? In bullet point, very clear and professional. Then you should talk about your project, your certifications. So make sure you also embed the links. Now, once you have this resume arrangement, you stand a higher chance of being hired. So I want you guys to compare between this resume, right, and this resume, right? If you're a recruiter, who do you think you're going to call first? Alright, guys, hope you enjoyed it. Do well to follow me on all my social media platforms. The link is in my bio.